Hi guys, and welcome to Cultnomics. My name is Paul Hanley, and today I'm going to be chatting to you about introducing money demand. In this video, we're going to look at the theory of liquidity preference, which is a theory devised by John Maynard Keynes back in the 1930s to determine the relationship between interest rates and the demand and supply of loanable funds in the economy of money. So what we have on this diagram here is we have an interest rate over on the left hand side on the y-axis, and we have the quantity of money down here on the x-axis. The money demand curve then relates is the relationship between the quantity of money demanded in the economy and the interest rate. And what we're going to see by drawing this relationship is that it is a downward sloping line. So money demand in the economy is negatively sloped, showing that as the interest rate increases, the demand for money, for real money balances, decreases. So let's take an example here where we have in the economy an interest rate, and this can be either nominal or real interest rate, and let's say it's at 5%. And at 5%, the money demand in the economy is, let's say, 100 billion euro. So people want to demand and keep 100 billion of cash on hand. In this scenario here, what can happen is the interest rate can increase from 5%. So if we have an increase in the interest rate, perhaps up to 8% here, two things happen. The first thing is, and the first thing we need to know, is that the reason you would hold money is that it is liquid. In fact, it's the most liquid asset we have. So the measure of an asset and the ease with which the asset can be converted into an economy's medium of exchange, we term that liquidity. Money is the economy's medium of exchange, so by definition, it's the most liquid asset available. So people would choose to hold money on them rather than other assets because they can use it to buy goods and services. The other term that we need as well, though, is there is a cost. In fact, we call it an opportunity cost of holding money. So opportunity cost of money demand is the interest rate that you give up from holding money in cash terms. So you could have saved that and earned an interest rate, perhaps invested it in a bond and earned an interest rate off that. So the opportunity cost of money is the interest rate. When that interest rate increases, in this case from 5 up to 8%, what we see is as the opportunity cost increases, the demand for money is going to decrease. So why would this be the case? Well, this is the case because individuals who are holding cash will be giving up the opportunity to earn an interest rate on it, in which case less people will demand cash and they will invest it in bonds or put it into the bank as savings. Now, we can also look at the other case here where the interest rate drops, and we'll start again at point A or 5%. So if the interest rate drops down here to maybe 2% in this case, what we can see based on the money demand curve is the demand for money increases. So over here, we will go up to 140 billion in this case. So what's happening here is the opportunity cost of holding money has decreased. You're not giving up as much for holding money as cash, which means that more people will be likely to hold money outside the banking system. So not invest in bonds and not save because it's not worthwhile to do so. The yield at 2% is too low. So as the interest rate drops, the money demand increases. So what we see here is a negative relationship between interest rates and money demanded. So as the interest rate increases, we see that money demand decreases, and as the interest rate drops, we see that money demand increases. Now, not only that, but we also have a shifting of the money demand curve left and right, and the money demand curve can shift left or right depending on a range of factors. And we're going to look at 3 of those now. So the first factor we will look at is the price level. And what we will say in the economy is that if the price level increases in the economy, what happens is you have to spend more money on goods and services. And in this case, your demand for money is going to have to increase. And if it increases, what we say is there is a rightward shift in the money demand curve. So money demand shifts to the right at every interest rate level, and that's the key over here. So at each interest rate, due to prices being higher in the economy, what happens is the money demand is at a higher level or has shifted to the right. So as prices go up, money demand shifts rightwards, and the opposite is also true. As the price level falls, what we see is money demand would shift to the left in that case, with less people needing cash and therefore demanding less. Now, we also have a second component here, which is the GDP level. And what we see in an economy is, in an economy that grows, a growing economy with growth in there, when the economy grows, people tend to demand more cash because there's more purchases of goods and services. And in that case, again, the money demand tends to increase, which means that it shifts to the right again. So a money demand rightward shift is associated with a growing economy, whereas a stagnating or a decreasing economy in terms of growth tends to have money demand shifting to the left. So we can show that one maybe. The GDP shifting to the left up here. So at each and every interest level, what we will have is a lower money demand level. So we'll give one example here where the interest rate is still at 5%. Money demand has decreased in this part here. At 8% it's decreased as well, and at 2% money demand has decreased. The final factor then to look at that will shift the money demand curve for us is technology. So what we have recently with the progress in terms of chip and pin technology and contactless payment is a shift in money demand. So as we see more use of cards to purchase products and services, what we see here is that the money demand curve, as technology improves, we see that money demand shifts to the left, because with improvements in card technology, you don't need to have as much cash on you in person, therefore your money demand curve shifts left. If that were to go in the opposite direction, which it doesn't normally, but just for the sake of accuracy, if technology disimproved here, the money demand would start shifting back to the right again. I hope you call back to Cultnomics soon. Bye for now.